What's up, VC? Welcome to my latest installment in the Vinyl Update series. Don't know what number I'm at, 70 something. Actually, the last one I restarted at 1. A little under the weather. Just got back from vacation, and I took today off, so just, got back late last night, 2 a.m., so I took today off to just get settled, did some errands, and I figured I would share quickly the digs, because if I don't do it now, I don't know when I'm going to get to it, and I have a few minutes before I head out to play some softball. So I went to California with a couple of my best friends to visit my cousin who just moved there from England. Last year we started a annual golf tournament, so trying to make that a tradition to do a 4-day golf tournament between us friends, and so this was year 2. And so yeah, we did that in San Diego this year, and I reached out through Facebook to the vinyl community where to dig in San Diego. Got hooked up. I think it was Mark Maxwell tagged on my posts, a guy named Steve Cater, and I met up with him, and he gave me some awesome recommendations, and I bought some records from him as well. So came back with a nice little stack of records, actually, more than I anticipated, but it's because he told me the good spots to go. I popped up to LA for less than 24 hours with one of my friends to see a friend from high school that's living there right now. But so we literally got there at night, went for dinner, crashed, and then the next day I was with my friend. So just did a couple things around town before we had to head back, and he had work to do. So for like an hour, I was able to go to a store that Steve had recommended, Atomic Records in LA, and I found some great stuff there too. So I got 2 piles. One is jazz, one is soul. And I haven't listened to, I've popped a few on this morning, but most of these I haven't listened to. So I'm just going to, it's basically show you what I grabbed, and over the next little bit, I'll be listening to them. And I also have another stack of records that right before I left my local store got a crazy jazz collection in. I don't believe I shared my pickups from that as well. So I have lots of listening to do. Okay, in no particular order, but one of the ones I'm most happy about, actually there's a few really nice finds that I got, but this one was from Atomic Records in LA. The guy's name was also Steve, and I was like at the cash buying a couple records, cheap records, nothing, I didn't really find anything. There was some gems on the wall, but I didn't really want to spend $200, $300, $400 on one record. And then I saw, as I was checking out, the Meters album at the cash, and I was like, what's this? And they're like, oh, it's not priced yet. So I went to the back, started talking to the guy. There was a big mark on it, but plays through fine. So ended up getting priced on that. But then I was like, oh, do you have anything else lying around that's not priced? And he started showing me all this stuff. So I ended up grabbing 2 more records. Two more records, I think, from there. Although there was, Albert Ayler, Spiritual Unity. There was Ornette Coleman original, the Town Hall concert on ESP. There was a couple of BYGs. There was some stuff he had in the back, and he had just picked up this collection that wasn't priced yet, where he said there was some crazy stuff. So timing was good, but could have almost been better. Anyway, so what I did grab is this Stanley Cowell Musa Ancestral Dreams solo piano. I'd really been wanting this record. Funnily enough, right before I went on my trip, I found a copy locally, but it was pretty scratched up, and I didn't really want to pay the price that they were asking for the condition that it was in. And I got this one for less than that scratched up one, and is in much better condition. So yeah, very, very happy to finally add this. There's a lot of strategies I don't have, but this is one of the more not as expensive ones that I really wanted that I didn't have. So very happy to add that. Found this at Beatbox Records. I met a guy there. Now his name is escaping me. The owner of Beatbox Records, and he was a really nice guy. Made me a deal on the records I bought. He knew Rob, and it's killing me. Bernie, DJ Inform, Bernie Fishman. So yeah, got this at his place. Actually got a few records from him. That was the last stop that I made in terms of record stores, and it definitely paid off. So never see any black jazz here in Montreal. Not never, but extremely rarely. So Kelly, I guess, I don't know if it's Keeley or Kelly. Patterson, Maiden Voyage, some vocal jazz. I just listened to one side of this. I'd never heard it before. Love it. So this is, from 73 on Black Jazz, and it's in great shape. This was also from Beatbox, but this was like, after I was paying, I was like, how much are you asking for that? Because it's a beat up copy, but I got it. He charged me $5 for it. It's warped and it's scratched, but it actually plays through fine. I'm gonna maybe try to fix the warp somehow, and I won't want to get it maybe clean with the VPI, and I think it will sound better. But it actually sounds way better than it looks, and especially with the warp. But it is Charles Mingus, The Clown, an original black label mono copy. So yeah, for $5, even just to have the cover, nice cover, not in perfect shape, but not awful. Didn't have this record, so yeah, definitely listenable even in that condition. Listened to it this morning. If I'm low key, I'm just having a coffee. If I'm low key, it's because I'm sick. So this is one I didn't know at all. This is from Atomic Records in LA, and he put it on for me. It looked dope. He put it on for me. Played it through the store. It was nice enough to put some free jazz on the store speakers because they didn't have a listening station, and I thought it was really dope, so I grabbed it. This is Maurice McIntyre, Humility in the Light of Creator. And this is from, I believe he's from the Chicago scene, the ACM, which is something I really know nothing about. So he worked with the ACM. I think he might have been one of the founding members, but I know you guys, people like Dave Belson and Tom and Chris Cole, all of you guys will know all about this. So I'm looking forward to digging into this one, and I really love the cover. This record and the Donald Byrd, both from Atomic, apparently are from Donald Byrd's collection, personal collection, which was not a huge deal, but kind of a cool fact. This is from Beatbox Records again. Bernie walked in, went to the jazz section. This was in front, literally within 3 seconds. I had this in my hands and was pretty pumped about it. And this is The Visitors, Earl Grubbs and Carl Grubbs, In My Youth on Muse, from 70, I want to say 72. Yeah, 72. So I have another one of theirs, but I'm still missing, I think they have 4 on Muse, but I have never heard this one, so I'm looking forward to exploring it. This one's not in amazing shape. It's a very quiet record, but pretty happy to find one of my favorite early jazz records. When I was first getting into jazz, this one really, really stood out to me. It's a second pressing, I think from the same year that it was released, because it was originally released on Moodsville, I believe, and this one is on Prestige, but this is Yusef Lateef, Eastern Sounds, and it's a mono pressing on the 283 South Washington on the Fireworks label, I believe this is called. So yeah, pretty happy to have a copy of that in my collection. This is a record, that one I got from Steve Cater, the guy that I met up with, and I bought a bunch from him. This one is a record I didn't know anything about. He recommended it. We listened to it quickly, and it sounded beautiful. So this is Gabor Szabo, Dreams. I think he said this was his own label, Sky. Anyway, Really, really beautiful sounding stuff on here. They have Gary McFarland on here as well. I'm sure you guys know about this, so looking forward to digging in based on what I heard, what I sampled quickly in the parking lot. This was from Folk Arts Records. Got a few good ones there. This one was actually like as I was leaving, I just took another peek in the jazz section. It was a whole wall of jazz records, but placed like as if they were in a shelf, not in a crate. So it took a little longer to go through. But yeah, another black jazz, one of the more common ones, but not common here in Montreal in the least. So I grabbed this Doug Karn Revelation. Yeah, Nathan Page on guitar. I hadn't even noticed that on this. And Olu Dara as well. This is one that had been on my want list, but I didn't know anything about. I think I must have seen someone post it or something, and hadn't never. It's a cheap record, but came across it, so grabbed it, and I'm sampled it in the store. It sounded amazing. Also from Folk Arts, Kenny Gill, I guess. What is, what will be, and I remember. Yeah, so you have Norman Connor on drums, Carlos Garnett on tenor, and then two other players that I don't know, but it's a dope lineup. Kenny Gill's a pianist. So some long tracks on here. Flatbush, Valley of All Brothers, Virgo Libra. Yeah, it's all, the title track, 14 minutes, so it sounded really, really good. A cheapie I had actually was like kind of seeking out because I didn't want to pay a lot. I didn't want to pay. I hadn't seen it here, and it's a super relatively common record, but I know it's amazing. So many McCoy Tyner records on Milestone, but I didn't have this one, and it's a beaut with Calvin Hill, Alphonse Mouzon, and Sonny Fortune. So for a few bucks, this was coming home with me. There was 2 Farrell records I found. I have only missing 1 Farrell record now that I really want, but there was 2 there that I didn't have. Live at the East. This one I'm about to show you. So other than the one on Indian Navigation, I think I'm good. I grabbed this. I left the Live at the East, but I grabbed this one. Had to make some choices. So yeah, this is Jewels of Thought. One of the first Farrell records I ever found and didn't buy before I was into Farrell, and kind of regretted not buying it ever since. But yeah, beautiful. This was definitely one of the finds of the trip. I have a reissue of this I bought last summer. Couldn't just, I just wanted it. And you always find them eventually. First time I see a used copy of this, Alice Coltrane, Journey in Satchidananda, featuring Pharoah Sanders. So yeah. Don't need to say anything about this. Finally. Actually found 2 Alice records. This was at a record store I went to 2 record stores that were 3 that were meh. But this one was pretty cool. Just didn't have much I wanted to buy, but I found this there. Universal Consciousness. So added 2 Alice Coltrane's to the collection. This one I had never seen in the wild. I have a bunch of Joe Henderson on Milestone, but I didn't have this one. I didn't actually know anything about it either. I've seen it on Discogs in the discography when I look through, but it's just not one that pops up. So yeah, this is Black is the Color. This is an earlier one. It's still on the yellow and maroon or whatever, brown, whatever you want to call it, label. And who plays on this? George Cables, Ron Carter, Jack DeJohnette, Dave Holland, David Horowitz, Ralph McDonald, Airto. So another one that I don't know. A lot of records to discover here, including this one, a cheapie. Awful cover. Norman Connor's Slewfoot. I actually would have not bought this based on the cover. I would have thought it was a later Norman Connor's record, but it's actually from '74, and the lineup is kind of nuts on it. Ron Carter. Who else was on here? Lawrence Killian, Lonnie Liston Smith, Dom Romeo, Romao, Carlos Garnett, Gary Bartz, Eddie Henderson, Gene Carn. So yeah, just like killer players. 74, good year. This cover is absolutely awful. So yeah, I haven't listened to it yet though, but I have high hopes for Mother of the Future, which is a Carlos Garnett track. Has got to be good. Another one that never come across, and I'd just been holding off buying it online, and I knew I'd find it eventually because it's common and not expensive, and I did finally. George Duke, The Aura Will Prevail on MPS. Love this record. Just didn't have it on vinyl. Getting to the end of the jazz here almost. This was also from Beatbox in San Diego, Bags and Train, Milt Jackson and John Coltrane. This is a this is like in beautiful shape, glossy cover, and it's pretty sure, I didn't like inspect too closely, but I'm pretty sure this is a first pressing from whatever year this came out, first mono press. Because yeah, the white fan, and it doesn't say mono or stereo, and that was cheap. So Bernie hooked me up with a sweet deal on the records. Staple classic that I didn't have, Lou Donaldson, Say It Loud on Blue Note. Some groovy shit, and another McCoy Tyner that I didn't have that I wanted, that I didn't want to pay a lot for. Asante. I almost didn't buy this one, but yeah. Andrew White, Buster Williams, Billy Hart, Matume. Okay, quickly into the soul ones, getting up there in time here. Dionne Warwick, Just Being Myself, classic Dilla sample. You're Gonna Need Me. Yeah, grab that. I've never seen it before. This is the Meters album I grabbed. Original pressing of that. Definitely some scratchiness on there, but wasn't expensive, so this is one I didn't know, but I definitely know the sample. William Devon, Be Thankful for What You Got. That was Steve Cater that told me about that. I got a couple. John Lucian's, didn't have any of his records, and these were recommended by Steve. Thank you. So I'm looking forward to digging into this. Rashida, and the other one somewhere else in this pile. So the rest, I just bought some like classic soul stuff that as you know, most of the records I show are jazz, because in Montreal we just don't see the soul stuff as much, or when it does, maybe I'm not there in time, but definitely not coming out in the bins as often. So took the opportunity to just grab some soul records that I was missing, like not rare stuff, but that I was missing in my collection, some holes. So Bill Withers, Just As I Am, one of my favorite records. Ain't No Sunshine, Harlem, Grandma's Hands, Moaning and Groaning, one of my favorite tracks. This pretty much does it for me for Al Green. There was the two records that I really wanted were this one, and wow, I'm blanking. Is it I'm Still in Love with You? I don't even know. I'm sick and my head's really cloudy. The white cover, white and green. But anyway, so yeah. Needed that one. Don't need any more. Same thing with Curtis. This pretty much, I was missing this one. And yeah, added that one. So I know there's one other 71 that's not bad that you don't see very often that's cheap. I can't remember the name of it, but I have all the best ones. Missing a few Leroy Hudsons. I think there's only my second one. I have a couple reissues, but this is a later one. 78, which made me slightly hesitant, but I'm sure there's going to be some good stuff on it. Charles Wright, You're So Beautiful. Don't know it. I know him, but I don't know the album. Obviously, it has This is Express Yourself 2. It's from the early 70s. And this is the other John Lucian I bought, Mind's Eye. And Stanley Cowell, Talking About Love. I'm really out of it. Hopefully it doesn't affect my softball playing semifinals, game 1. Eddie Henderson, Julian Priester, um, Kenneth Nash, Albert Heath. Didn't have this one. Pretty much rounds out my Stanley Cal collection because there's another Strata East one that I have waiting for me at my cousin's house in the States. 20 minutes, so that's it. Those are my California trip pickups. And I am heading to NYC next week on another little mini trip. So I will likely take a little gander at some records there, which could be dangerous. Peace.